Welcome back. So far, today's program has looked at the budget for 2009, the IDP situation, and the problems of minorities in Sri Lanka. To find out more about these issues, I spoke to Dr. Kumar Rupesinghe, the chairman of the Foundation for Coexistence. A new budget has been presented in Parliament, and we see that the defence allocations is higher than many other sectors. But we were led to believe that the war will be over by now and not the end of next year. How do you see the developments in the coming months, and is it likely that the war will come to an end?
I have always basically maintained that the war is not going to come to an end. It depends on what you mean by war. I think even General Fonseca has said that although one may be able to deplete the conventional capacity of the LTT, that it will remain as a terrorist and guerrilla organization. It is my view that modern wars don't end like that. And that in that sense, I've also written that the expenditure for war will increase by at least 25% next year, and that has happened. They may even bring supplementary budgets as we go along. So my view is that this war is going to continue for some time, and a settlement has to be reached.
What about the prospects for a political settlement?
The prospects for a political settlement always remains if the government on its side is prepared to present a political solution to the people. We have now waited for almost 2.5 to 3 years for the APRC to come up with a solution, and they have. It's a question of announcing it robustly and presenting it eventually to Parliament, and that's what we are waiting for.
Okay. Do you think a political settlement can be found without international mediators? If not, who do you think the ideal mediators will be?
No, I think the mediation process that had begun with the Norwegians should continue. I don't think we will have many mediators who would like to come to Sri Lanka. Let's also not forget that. But the Norwegian mediation, together with the co-chairs, plus India playing a much greater role, will be the necessary outcome of the next round of talks. And I think those rounds of talks are going to come much sooner than most people think.
Speaking of India, India's role was highlighted once again with several incidents in Tamil Nadu. How important do you think the intervention from India is, and what form should it actually take?
India has been dormant until the mobilization in Tamil Nadu. We have to always recognize that the minority of population has a very large base of support in South India with 54 million Tamils. We can never forget that. And therefore, India will continue to remain a big neighbor with an interest in its neighbors. And if we don't get our house in order, right, then others are going to come and interfere. Right? So the best thing we can do is to put our house in order. Putting our house in order means settling the national question and providing a political solution. Number two, to treat our minorities with respect and dignity, and that they feel this is their home. And what we have now is ethnic profiling, insults on minorities by people in government, and all this kind of nonsense. I mean, if those kinds of statements about minorities, that they should go back to Saudi Arabia, or that they are only visitors to this country, and that minorities cannot make demands, they should be put in prison. That's what they would do in Malaysia or in Singapore. So basically, the majority community, right, has a responsibility to ensuring minority protection and dignity in this country.
In the end, there is a need to go beyond the political settlement and win the hearts and minds of the Tamil people. But is it likely given the current context?
The war is not only the war for territory, it's also the winning the hearts and minds of the people. I've always said that. And that the Tamil people or the Indian the origin Tamils in the plantations or the Muslims or other minorities have to think this is their home, right? They need that. And therefore we have to create that tranquility and stability. And unless if we don't do that, we lose the psychological war. It's as simple as that. And terrorism will then present a case that of the deprivation of their rights. So once again, let us get our own house in order, and then we will not have mediators or outsiders coming to interfere in our country's affairs.
Okay. And where can we go for a glimmer of hope for a lasting peace in Sri Lanka?
As I've always said, all wars have a beginning and an end. This war is also going to come to an end. Now with President Obama coming to power, he has pledged that he will end the war in Iraq. Most probably they will negotiate with the Taliban. He will try to settle the Palestine-Israel problem, and we have now, for the first time, a great president who has the heart and the soul. And I think that inspiration is such that I think that will have its own momentum and have its own impact in Sri Lanka. And I hope that the Sri Lankans will learn the lesson and also have an Obama in Sri Lanka. An Obama who's not Sinhalese or whatever. Obama who's whatever ethnicity, who cares for all the people of this planet.